Well, Venom was both enjoyable and something that I was expecting for the cliche bit. Action movies, it's really hard to get an original idea for an action movie, especially for action movie scenes. Same thing always happens, and for what I've seen in movies like Die Hard, the Die Hard franchise, every action movie that I've seen, there's like the one noticeable cliche is when the SWAT team shows up. You know the scenes: Matrix, Die Hard, Escape from New York. You get a lot of that going on. You freeze, and then pa 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 pa, and then swipe 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 swipe. Just that same action that you see in film after film after film. Acting was great. Michelle Williams and Tom Hardy, both were great. Both were enjoyable to watch, and I thought that the voice of Venom was what Venom should have sounded like in Spider-Man 3. In fact, I often wonder, why didn't they choose Tom Hardy to play Venom in the first place? I mean, Topher Grace, he was a good Eddie Brock, but not quite as Venom. Well, with Topher Grace as Venom, in Spider-Man 3, when Eddie Brock was Venom, they still used Topher Grace's voice as Venom. They didn't make it more
beastie and gravelly like this.
They just kept Topher Grace's normal voice, so it just didn't seem as menacing, Anyways, the reason why I found this movie a disappointment was because it just was... the whole trailer was the film. A lot of the action scenes that you see were from the trailer. Everything else was weird humor, I found. Don't get me wrong, it's always good to see a good action movie. It's always good to see two villains, a henchman and a main antagonist. Overall, I think maybe watching Venom once was enough. I know a lot of people, according to Google, like it's last time I checked, it was like 95% of Google users actually liked Venom. But I'm probably the other half that does not really like Venom. Although I am intrigued after the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene was interesting. It was Woody Harrelson. The post-credit scene had Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy. Now, Cletus Cassidy, for those that don't know, is Carnage. And Carnage is the offspring to the Venom symbiote. And I'm glad that they include this because I remember watching the 90s cartoon series when I was a little boy. And one of the DVDs that I have is from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon series. The Venom Saga is what it's called. And I do remember them showing Cletus Cassidy, and I remember him having like this weird, sickly look, frail, long, kind of like the way my hair is like now, except it's more curly, more wavy, and it's red hair. I guess you could say it's almost like Sideshow Bob, only not big and puffed out. But anyways, I think Woody Harrelson is going to be a great Carnage / Cletus Cassidy. As for rating it, I'm going to say 5 out of 10 film cameras. It was half enjoyable, and then the other half was not so much enjoyable. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is trying hard to tie in with a lot of others, including Deadpool and Venom. But movies like Logan and Deadpool 1 and 2, they were both very mature with their plots and acting and action sequences. I was expecting a gigantic MA rating on this, mature audiences, So I was a little disappointed that this was still aimed at, a younger audience. But, I gotta say that I wish Venom was up there with films like Deadpool and Logan. But, what's done is done, and I guess we're just going to have to see what happens with Carnage.